Another day, another afternoon, or maybe morning or evening where you are, but it's afternoon here in Lagos, Nigeria. We are at the boombar on Boom Radio NG, and for the next 1 hour, we'll be talking music, sports, politics, and everything in between. I lied. We'll be talking
Politics,
and everything in between. Everything in between is now the music, sports, and all of that.
everything else.
But it's majorly going to be about the governorship and House of Assembly elections that happened on Saturday in 28 states across Nigeria. And the states that didn't have governorship elections also had House of Assembly elections.
Yeah, so there were actually elections all throughout the
Exactly. So there's a lot to talk about. There were even senatorial runoffs and House of Rep results. Some of them are out, some of them are not out.
Some of them are not even
being collated,
done. Yeah, the election has not been done.
Some have been, yeah.
But the honest. Okay, so good day everybody. It is the boombar, like he has said. And my name is Dolupo. And one thing that I'm here to first announce is that I am happy that at least the bulk of the elections are over. I don't know if anybody else is happy or they are sad. I am from my own perspective. Like, there was so much agitation. I don't know if anybody else felt it. There was so much agitation. There was so much tensed up energy. There was so much tension in the air. Then there was a lot of, especially after the presidential elections, there was so much drama. Everybody had something to say. This is this. Somebody's being tribalistic. Somebody's being, what's it called? This place is no man's land. There was so much drama, especially in the southern part of Nigeria here. So I'm just genuinely happy that most of the elections are over. A lot of states have been announced, so a lot of people know where to go, where not to go, and we're gradually moving to the legal season. So I think that's where I'm going to start from. And like he had said, March 18th, that was on Saturday, there were elections. There were gubernatorial elections in 28 of 36 states of Nigeria, and so there were 8 states because they have staggered elections, and and Abuja literally does not have a governor. In fact, according to the constitution, the president is the governor of the Federal Capital Territory. So they did not have elections in Abuja on Saturday. So basically, in 28 states of the federation across the country, and I don't know, that there's been a lot of, I don't want to say drama, really. There's been a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of people jubilating, a lot of people accusing people of a lot of stuff happening back and forth. But before we get to that, as last we checked, there've been announcements in 13 states across the country, and I think that it would not be a bad idea to first let's start with that. We know that at least if we start here from the southwest, everybody knows what everybody's doing. I don't think we have any inconclusive elections. Southwest, there were 3 elections that happened. Out of the 6 states, we know that there were no elections in Osun State, Ekiti State, and Ondo State. So
there were no governorship
elections. Sorry, there was election in Lagos State, Ogun State, and Oyo State. And
we already have a comment on YouTube from our friend, our brother regular, Francis Odum, and he says, "Hi guys from Dallas.
Hello.
You think the legal season won't be stressful too? It's not over. Why lie? Why are you like this?
You know the funny thing.
Why are you like this?
To answer your question, I don't think it will be stressful. I think it will be hilarious. There's going to be a lot of, because if you look at it, a lot of things come off from the elections. A lot of drama comes from the courts. there's always gists, which maybe is maybe I don't know why I tilt towards that, but I actually like I cut gists. Anybody that notices that I actually like a lot of cut gists. So I think it's going to be interesting, especially with a lot of drama that we're seeing. A lot of I'm also.
So guess what? I know you're about to say why you're also into the.
Yeah, I'm about to lose my train of thought. So.
Go ahead.
Move on.
No, go ahead.
So, but why I said so is that I feel that why the legal system is very interesting is that there's going to be a lot of precedences that's going to happen, that's going to probably shed more light on a lot of our very, I don't want to call it ambiguous, but a little not clear laws that we have.
Okay.
I think that's what the legal time is going to do.
Read Francis Odom's comment again.
Hi guys, think the legal system won't be stressful. It's not over. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
But I don't think it will be stressful. I think it will be very interesting. That's
well, in Dolupo's books, it will be interesting. Yes. In my books, I think the stress is still going to be there. I think that
you know that there's not going to be this much tension.
No, I can't say that, because you don't think that all this tribal, religious, ethnic sentiment will just disappear?
No, I don't think
some of those things will find their way.
Those things, you don't find those things. Would it really affect the court rulings?
It's not about it affecting the rulings or not. It's about if it's going to just go away.
Oh no, I don't think it's going to go away.
I think what you're trying to say, what I agree, I think there's another comment from Francis Odom.
Oh yeah, he says that stress go deal, tension go still day.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
You know why I will not say that. I think that the tension is really going to reduce. Let's take for example, I'm sorry you disagree with you, Dolu. It's everybody actually, we all have our opinion. You know why I feel that it might not last so much is that let's take for example 3 weeks ago, the presidential elections. If you really notice, a lot of the tension that happened in the first week after the presidential elections started dissipating. Like, if we didn't have governorship elections, after a week, a lot of things just reduced. And then what brought about it, let's take, for example, Lagos State, is the campaigns of some set of people or some conversations that people had again that I think riled a lot of people up again.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying, that I think that it will give it a few days, it would actually reduce.
But that's the point. You see, the fact that it reduces after a few days does not mean that it will go away.
Oh, no, I don't think it will go away.
There's no argument about
even here,
the fact that
in Yankee guys, they para. Okay, so please, I would actually like to hear your angle. What exactly are people paraing about? You know, let's know what exactly the issue is. What states do people think that there are a lot of issues or people do not see? Because it's good to see things from people's perspective. Francis, let's hear from
no
you.
matter what it is. One of the things that I didn't like is how brothers became enemies. Is how we all started seeing, a division in places where we were okay with it.
There are guys here planning on what?
He's still writing, so it's fine.
Okay.
So I don't like the fact that this particular governorship election took us to a crescendo of tribal and ethnic, sentiments. The word bigot or bigotry became a regular.
It was back in our dictionary.
Yeah.
It was back in our vocabulary.
And it became like number one there. Everybody's calling out everybody and everything. But if you step back for a minute, at times you are what you say people are.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not that enthused about the legal season that we're going into, because a lot of this rhetoric, a lot of these sentiments have been whipped up and it's not about to dissipate.
Even where if the
because some people are even going to they're going to call it up, they're going to bring it up. I'm looking forward to when we grow, when we mature to the point where no matter the kind of campaign we run, I hope we don't run this kind of toxic campaigns, that we're able to move on and realize that no matter what, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But we're not there yet. We're still at the place where we're even like threatening each other now. A lot of things are being said. You know, if you follow social media, you would understand. But it's not our job to rile people up. It's always our job to put things in perspective. We're not even trying to spin. We're just trying to put it in perspective and douse the tension to say, chill for a minute, slow your roll. There's nothing new under the sun. And there's always a way for things to be addressed without us, resorting to violence and fisticuff and anger and all of that. There's a lot of things that's wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that we need to get to a point where we should deal with issues as they come. Two things. I'm sorry if it's going to come out as what's it called, but I think that one of the issues that we have around us is that we're very hypocritical. We're a very hypocritical set of people. I'm sorry if it's going to look at, but especially the southern part of Nigeria, I think that we're a very hypocritical set of people. Why? And trust me, I'm not putting it to a particular region. The southwest, the southeast, maybe not even so much of the south really. I think it's more of the southwest and the southeast. Why? Is because everybody in their region has issues, yeah, but it's almost like we never remove the log in our own eyes. We're always quick to attack. When they ask you, okay, why is this happening here, the next thing you hear is, but in your own state, this is what happens. Do you understand? We're very quick to attack each other. But the point is that do things happen everywhere? Yes. The elections that happened, did violence happen in Lagos State? Oh yes. Did violence happen in Abia State? Oh yes. Do you understand? It's not the point of we should be at a point where it's a matter of we're condemning everything that has happened in Lagos, in Abia State, in Ogun State, in Enugu State. Do you understand? We're all collectively having a voice and saying that these things are wrong.
All right. So Francis Odom says that these people come here and see how things work, bring their kids and their family here, and then go back to Nigeria to create drama. It's really sad. We hate seeing this.
I think I get the angle from what you're saying, but this also is, I think, is from a very one-sided angle to it. Why I say so is that we feel a lot of times we see things from what we can see from afar, but even in Nigeria, everybody attacks politicians, which I'm not holding brief for anybody, but the damage that we do to ourselves I think is worse. Nobody is a politician or nobody is a leader without people behind him. Yeah? And this is where we come from. We don't even need politicians now for people to be calling each other names on social media now, to be attacking each other, to get to the extent of even threatening each other. Yeah, let's be honest, people don't need the help of politicians anymore to do all these things, and that's the honest truth. That's where my own grudge comes from. Like, everybody is always saying politicians this, politicians that, but what happens to the people that keep doing the things? Because if we're not careful, we end up becoming who or what we're fighting against.
Okay, so one of the things I like to do is to take everything by its merit and say, for instance, Francis dropped a statement. He said, these people come here and see how things work, bring their kids and family here, then go back to Nigeria to create drama. It's really sad. We hate seeing this. Now, these people, I would like to assume he's talking about politicians who are in government. You understand? The ones who have been in government for years anyway, in and out, but they are the people in government. Do they have their families outside Nigeria? A lot of them do.
Yeah.
The bulk of them do. Do they see how things work outside Nigeria? Yes, they do. And do they come back to Nigeria to create drama? Yes, they do. That's the way I want to handle what he has written here. Like, I get what he's saying. I can relate to it. And when you talk about hypocrisy, you're correct. Falz, the bad guy, to me, the best song he has ever dropped is the song Everybody is a Hypocrite. He used the word mother something hypocrite, right? But we're not allowed to swear, but you get it. Indeed, even Falz himself,
yeah,
and me and you, everybody
is. That's where my issue comes from. Like, let's deal with the issues that we have. Okay, so maybe before we even start that, let's just give a
but the state by state,
let's just give a rundown of states and so we started from the southwest. All southwest states I think have been declared.
All southwest states that there were
elections,
gubernatorial elections
have been declared. Even I think the House of Assembly elections too have also been declared in all of the six states. So makes sense. Okay, so starting from Oyo State, we know that the governor there, and who's also the candidate of the PDP, Seyi Makinde, won with 563,756 votes.
Yeah. And that's a massive result. Like, like it almost like doubled his gap on the next person.
Yes.
The person that came second is what we usually say a distant
second. So, and then a much distant third, basically. Moving on from that, we go to Akwa Ibom State, where in Akwa Ibom, the PDP also won that state, and as announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, with 354,348 votes.
In Akwa Ibom, all I want to talk about that, maybe you bring it out a bit. I want to look at it again. The APC came second with 129,602. And of course, like you said, PDP 354,000. Now, the thing about Akwa Ibom is that they have an airline called Ibom Air.
Ibom Air, yeah.
And that airline is going to get a lot of business going forward from when this new governor comes in on Fridays. On Fridays, the Saturday we will all leave. You see, the governor of the incoming governor of of Akwa Ibom is a pastor.
What's his name?
I can't remember. We'll check it now and give it to the people. He's a pastor, fine boy, yellow, purple, like that.
Okay.
And his last video that trended on Thursday into Friday was where he was talking about happy hour. That in Akwa Ibom, they're going to boost the economy by creating happy hour to make people happy and hang out. So what the state government, what he plans to do as governor, say his name again?
Umo Eno.
Yeah, Governor Eno, incoming, will give money to beer parlors and joints and lounges and have them subsidize. I saw the video, not read it now. I saw the video and subsidize the cost of alcohol, and then people can now go to beer parlors on Fridays for happy hour, and the state would have subsidized it, which means more sales for the beer parlors and the joints and the lounge and the whatever. And of course,
I'm not sure. I
please let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay, finish.
I beg you in Jesus' name.
Go ahead.
Governor, I couldn't vote for you because I'm not registered to vote in Akwa Ibom, but you are our governor and we love you.
I'm not sure I understand how I feel about this.
On Fridays, there's going to be an influx. We will go there because we have to boost the economy of Akwa Ibom. So, congratulations to the PDP,
Am I allowed to say
and
something
the
about this?
and the incoming governor.
Oh,
That's why you are here now.
You know, I think I read something like that, but you know when something is just hitting you now.
It's just hitting her.
I don't know how to feel about this, because this seems like a very, what's the word now, unintelligent way of saying that you want to boost the economy of.
It's not just boosting the economy.
State.
It's also talking about how people need to relax and chill because they get wound up during the
And
week.
you can tell people that there's a 4-day, at least last I checked, there was like a 4-day week in Kaduna or somewhere around that place. But I don't know. I honestly don't know how to feel about it. But anyway, let me just move on before I say something that I'm not supposed to say. The Akwa Ibom people have spoken and he has won anyway. So happy hour for Akwa Ibom residents.
Now, Akwa Ibom. Okay, you know what? I wanted to draw a parallel with what happened 4 years ago. You understand? But there's no, I don't want to waste time on that because there's so much for us to do. 28 states. So in Akwa Ibom, the PDP was in government before. So they are still in government actually. And now there's still going to be a PDP governor.
I think there's always been a PDP state.
Very impressive showing for the APC in Akwa Ibom.
Yeah, the Akwa Ibom has
very impressive.
For NNPP.
NNPP with 12,509 and the YPP with 13,602 or something.
Okay, now moving on from that to Ogun State, that was also announced yesterday with the APC and the incumbent governor winning with about 3,000 votes. He had a total of 276,298 votes.
Yeah.
With PDP coming strongly behind him with 262,383 votes. ADC with 94,754 votes. I think that anybody that gets 94,000 of votes in a state is worthy of mention.
So it's our job to break it down to you guys and make you understand the story behind the story. So in 2019, 4 years ago, Dapo Abiodun got 35.49% of the votes, followed by the APM, who had Adekunle Akinlade, who had just left the APC. He was an House of Rep member. He had just left the APC and moved to the APM. And he was backed by the former governor, or the outgoing governor then, Ibikunle Amosun of the APC.
The APC.
Now, Akinlade, 4 years after, has aligned with the PDP, running mate for the PDP governorship candidate.
Yeah.
And Ibikunle Amosun is still in the fray, the former governor. This time around, the ADC that Dolupo is talking about got 16.22% with Boyega Nasir Isaka, who was also, in government before. But this time around, they got more. Why? Because Ibikunle Amosun was behind it again. So the elections in Ogun State are very interesting and also very funny. That an APC member in the last two election cycles in Ogun State is always backing a candidate from
another party. It's a very interesting thing. We know that with this very little number of votes, people can still win elections. And let me put it out there. So people have been, maybe just for information, how do you win elections, governorship elections in Nigeria? So there are actually also two ways. It's basically the same thing with presidential elections. For you to be declared a winner, you have to have had the highest number of votes and 25% of 2/3 of the local government in the state.
Yeah.
So once you fulfill those criteria, you would be announced as a governor. Just wanted to put it out there so we know that even though maybe the gap between some of these states are not much, if they actually fulfill it, and then there's nothing that really.
Some people have become governor in Nigeria with less than 1,000.
Yes, with less than 1,000 votes. Yes.
Gap.
Less, yeah, like there's a difference of about less than 1,000
between them and
the next person.
Yeah.
Another person that has been announced is Yobe, where the APC won that as well with 317,113 votes, with the PDP coming close to with 104,259.
Yeah, in Yobe, it looks like it's obviously an APC state. They seem to have done like ×3 of what they had this year, because when someone does 100,000 to someone's 300, but 4 years ago, the same person, May Malabuni of the APC, actually got 81.2% of the votes.
Oh wow! So it's safe to say that he's dropped.
He has
the
dropped.
number of votes
he
got has dropped. You know, the funny thing is that, do you notice that this happens a lot?
Yeah, it does.
People that were looking for re-election most of the time. Even I don't think it's just in Nigeria.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere. By the time you are seeking re-election, the number of votes you get most of the time is always not as much.
Also, to mention that he was taken over from an APC candidate in the person of Ibrahim Gaidam.
Okay, all right. Also, now let's go to Jigawa State, where it has also been announced, and the APC also won that state with 618,449 votes, with the PDP coming behind with 368,726.
Now, in 2019, they had Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, who was re-elected. So definitely there's a new person now in Jigawa. But as at that time, the APC had 73.51%, as against the PDP's Ringim, Aminu Ibrahim Ring, with 26.14 in the same state of Jigawa. So you see that again, there's been a slight shift, but regardless, they have held forth there.
Okay. Also, let's move on from that, and from Jigawa, we're going to Gombe, as Gombe has also been announced, with the APC also winning that state with 342,821 votes. With the PDP coming second with 233,131.
So in 2019, that was the last term for Governor Dan Kwabo of the PDP in that state. You get. So Mohammed Inuayaya won with 59.88%. defeating Usman Bayero Nafada, who had 36.54%.
Okay, so it's safe to say these states, they were not like change of parties.
Nothing changed. It's
nothing
still
really
APC.
Changed. Yeah, another state with that the APC also won is Kwara State, which this is most recently. Kwara, as for the longest of times, they've always been a PDP state until 2019. Now, the APC has won that state for the second time now with 273,424 votes.
Now, leave the figures behind and understand the context in which Dolupo pointed out. PDP, was in charge for about 3 election cycles, if not 4.
Oh, yeah, 4.
Bukola Saraki
was 8 years. Then the other man, 8 years. That's another 8 years.
That is Abdul Fattah
Ahmed, yes.
So for 16 years it was PDP.
PDP.
Then they started with the moniker, with the campaign slogan Otoge, and Otoge in Yoruba means it's enough. the people
you've
there
done
were
enough.
saying, look, enough of PDP, let's give someone else a chance. And they gave
And Abdurrahman
Abdurazak
came and just took it over.
73.12% is what he had that time. If you look at the result now, he's still doing very well in Kwara. He had defeated Razak Atunwa. But of course, Razak Atunwa didn't get a chance to come back again this time. There was a different candidate by the PDP.
Yeah, and of course, but I don't even think he got as much votes as he got
73.
the last time as well. On that, we're moving to Katsina State.
But before we leave Kwara, I would like to mention the election of a 26-year-old lady, a woman.
Oh yeah, I was going to talk about also. I completely forgot. I think it was Yobe that also gave us a 22-year-old
Man.
And that I think is about the youngest.
I think it's PDP, right?
Member. No, it's APC.
Okay.
Is Yobe? I think it's Yobe that I can't remember who. I think it was one that it was a PDP guy that beat the Speaker of the House there. But there's a 22-year-old House of Assembly member. There's another 26-year-old in Kwara State. I was reading it.
A woman.
That in Kwara State now there are about 5 women that have won their seats in the House. I think that there's a lot happening in Kwara State that needs to be.
So 2 things I want to highlight about the Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak, allowing young people to come through the ranks and even creating an enabling environment for them, empowering them, then
agree.
Allowing more women.
There were a lot of women in his cabinet.
Yes.
I remember that's what we're talking about, that give these people a chance, at least in appointments, and before you know it, they might actually get into...
It's actually happening in Kwara.
Yes, it is really happening in Kwara. That definitely has something that we need to highlight. Now, let's move on to the president's state, where President Muhammadu Buhari is from. And why this Katsina is very interesting is because the next couple of states that we're going to be calling, they're very interesting because we can see like a complete shift in what we saw with the presidential elections. There are a few states like that have been announced, and this is not about the APC. It's also with the PDP as well. There are states that even the APC had won the presidential elections that we've seen that NNPP or even no, not NNPP, the PDP have now won with the governorship elections, and this for me literally just tells me that when it was a few weeks ago I heard that thing, and this just shows it that presidential elections and governorship elections are 2 different things completely.
I've always known
and definitely this is what we will get from Katsina State, where just barely 3 weeks ago the PDP won that state with the highest number of votes for the presidential elections. It was a very good outing for them, and you're wondering like how would the PDP win in where President Muhammadu Buhari is from. The APC had been winning that state for years.
It's always been an APC state, and
only for the governorship elections to come out now, and APC had 859,892 votes, with the PDP getting 486,620.
Now let's quickly balance that with what happened 4 years ago. Governor Aminu Bello Masari, he was the governor, 70.04% is what he had, and the PDP had 29.03% with Garba Yakubu Lado contesting.
For looking at this now, this is about the same thing.
Yeah,
it's about
shows
the same
you
thing.
A pattern.
Yes, this pattern stays the same way.
Regardless of what your political leanings are and what you believe in, if you look at the numbers, you start to understand the voting pattern of people. That you say the Nigerian electorate are not sophisticated, you are lying to yourself. These people,
they know what they want. People know what they
are
want.
voting based on what they believe in.
And I was going to talk about it. Shout out to the Northerners. They are the most sophisticated, to me, the most enlightened politically, the most what's the word now? I'm trying to look for a word. Diverse set of people. I don't know what else anybody seen it, but we've seen so much diversity in their votes from governorship to the presidential. Very, very interesting. Another very interesting state that I think caught a lot of people by surprise is the Lagos State governorship election result. I think it was announced in the early hours of this morning, and that is where the APC got 762,134 votes, with the Labour Party coming strong second with 312,329, and the PDP with 62,449. So Lagos State elections have caused a lot of controversy. Basically, not just in Lagos, in a lot of places. I'm sure that is part of what Francis Odum was talking about. And now, not to hold brief for anybody, the honest truth is that where they violence in some polling units across the state, oh yes, that we cannot deny. There are pictures, there are videos all over. Now, was there voter suppression? There's been a lot of allegations about that. Yeah? Until I think people should go to court, yeah, and put out all these things. But I now saw a few people going on about how the elections in Lagos State should be cancelled. And I feel that this is a conversation that we need to have. And when you call for cancellation, there's always a percentage for these things. Lagos State has over 13,000 polling units. How many of those polling units recorded voter suppression and and violence? When we really pick it out, do we even have up to 50% of it, or 30%, or 20% of that? Those are things that we need to look at. Those are the numbers that we need to look at. Take, for example, in VGC, we know that they did not vote until yesterday. But they also did not even announce results. We could have said, and I remember I read it, there were about 10 polling units. But if you remove 10 polling units from over 13,000, you're wondering how many votes would that help? But you cannot say because of that you would announce and then just disenfranchise people.
Yeah.
So they had to wait for people to finish voting before these announcements were made. And also another thing is that people also need to understand that once INEC announces a result,
it's the law.
It's the law. The only way we can go around it is go to court. And I know that I saw a video of the Labour Party candidate saying that he was not going to congratulate the governor-elect and all that, which is well within his right. There's nowhere in the law that says that anybody has to congratulate anybody. Really, let's be honest with ourselves. Nobody has to congratulate anybody. I think that if he feels so strongly about it, he should go to court. I just also feel that there's some statements that are being made here and there that can incite violence, that I think that people need to calm down on.
Okay, so the governor of Lagos, we were talking about it, I tweeted about 6 hours ago, and he said that is deeply humbled and grateful for the overwhelming support and trust the good people of Lagos State, are giving him. He said, I am honored to be re-elected as your governor and pledge to continue to work tirelessly to deliver a better Lagos for all. Thank you for believing. There's so many things he wrote. But Falz the bad guy quoted that tweet and said, you were not re-elected, you selected yourself. Everybody saw it unfold. You are only deceiving yourselves, And Nigerians, APC supporters, Labour Party supporters went crazy on that. In fact, some newspapers and online blogs picked up this story, and it's a story on their platforms, And someone, Yusuf Olalekon Abdul Salam, said, Pain, is that you? Falz has responded. He said, yes, it is actually. The pain of knowing that brothers and sisters are being turned against each other in a bid to win an election. also the pain of seeing our democratic process rubbished before our very eyes. Somebody said, you just choose to be Omo. I can't say the Yoruba word there. And Falz responded and said, open your eyes. Another person, Ashiwaju_wa, said, normally your family is known for always going against good things because it does not favor your family.
I think that
so
we
continue
should be coming down.
So continue.
I honestly feel
and
that
people basically just went.
The statement that Falz made, I think that it is, especially with the fact that tensions are high, I think public figures need to be careful the kind of things that they say. Personally, I think that even if you feel strongly about it, I feel that people need to be calming down with the kind of things that they say. And why I said so is that everybody is going on about Lagos State. I will take an example of, I think it's Agor Palace Way, where it was said that it was a thug that was trying to disrupt the electoral process.
Steal a ballot paper.
And people...
Or ballot box.
And it was alleged that people actually attacked this person. One way or the other.
He got shot.
The person got shot. The person is dead.
Yeah.
Now, by the time we go back, I was reading yesterday that there are about 4 people that have been arrested concerning this. And I read the statement of the police, and guess what? They didn't say a thug that was shot.
Yeah.
A person, 4 people have been arrested in what's it called, where a person has been killed.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers. And you know what? The only thing that pops in my head is like, if you're not careful, you're becoming what you're fighting against.
True. So there has to be a line, you know. There has to be.
You say you will claim that you're trying to resist
a bit of
violence,
decorum.
but
someone here, please forgive me for causing that noise. At Z Bakari 13 says, I wish you guys would listen to yourselves when you drop your opinion on political and social issues. You can't be a champion of democracy only when it suits you. People are starting to see through this selective activism that you and your colleagues practice. You can play a better role, my brother.
That's where my issue comes from. You know, everybody, and I know that in the past few days, there's been a lot of celebrities going on about the tribalism that we saw in Lagos State, that people voted. But are we all going to say that we also did not see or hear comments by just a few people, not a lot of people, to be honest, but a few people saying things like Lagos is no man's land, a few people talking about they're going to take Lagos. There was a space that went on for days,
6 days,
about people going on about how they need it for IPOB is emergence, they need to take Lagos. There was a video, I think in Abia State, where it was after a meeting and the person making the video was making such divisive and such funny statements. And I'm like, I'm not sure. The only person that I remember very well that came to condemn that statement was Yul Edochie.
Yeah, he did actually.
He was the only one that actually spoke against those. And now, my question to people is that people do whatever it is they want to do. Yeah? There's freedom of speech, there's freedom of expression. And it is in the midst of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, there is a reaction to every single action. Why these things that we are arguing about now could have been nipped in the bud 3 weeks ago.
But this is what I want to say, and we need to be honest with ourselves. You know, I talked about how Falz made a song where he says everybody's a mother hypocrite, right? This is what I want to say, and let's be honest with ourselves. Again, I repeat myself. We need to be honest with our situation. Why is it that we don't have one standard for everything?
Yeah.
First, I personally, and I'll speak on behalf of this duo, but on personal terms, condemn every act of voter suppression.
Yeah, wherever it is from.
In Lagos, in Oyo,
in Lagos State, in Oyo State, in Abia State, we saw
Enugu,
in Enugu State, even as far as the presidential
in
election,
Rivers State.
Rivers State, there was so much. Everybody, there was
Our
pictures and videos.
politics is still steeped in violence.
It's very repressive.
We
very
need to
1980s,
stop it.
That kind of thing.
1950s,
More like 1950s.
60s and 50s.
Yes, more like 1950s. It's high time we need to stop some of these things.
What does the Constitution say? You understand? The Constitution that allows people to register wherever they want, allows them to vote wherever they want. Don't stop them.
Yes.
Don't stop anybody from voting. Don't beat anybody. Don't fight anybody.
I saw a tweet earlier today where someone said
hypocrisy.
It is when people are going on that one thing it tells people. I don't know if you saw that tweet, that it is our Lagos, because you can, when it comes to elections, we can't say that everybody is in different places, and when it comes to allocation, it's one purse. The way it should be our Lagos is the way it should be our Owerri. It is our Sokoto. It is, it is our thing. It is not your Lagos. It is not your Zamfara. It is not your Anambra.
We need to stop. Honestly, we need to stop the idea of using double standards.
Yes.
There are people in the APC that I believe the law enforcement people should pay a visit to and ask them why they made some statements they made. But you see, they don't have a monopoly of this stupidity. It transcends all the major parties.
Everybody.
The PDP.
Labour
there's a
Party.
video of a top PDP member in Delta State.
Yeah.
Saying that if you're not going to vote PDP, don't even come out.
Yes.
In Lagos, they did it.
It happened in Lagos.
Oh, they were ringing the bell.
I saw a video of that this morning.
In Rivers State, there were people with a gong walking through some village and telling people, if you're not voting PDP, don't come out.
It happens everywhere. Let's be honest with
In the Southeast,
we
there
saw
was a guy
videos,
that said that people will be killed.
We saw videos of those things. We saw someone being chased from their polling unit because they were voting another party.
There was a particular video of people who actually took away the table, the plastic table that the INEC staff were using for their registration process, and they took it away during the elections. So what I'm trying to say is that
let's not condemn just one part. This thing we're fighting
must stop being hypocritical.
Yes, that's where my issue comes from.
Our biggest issue is the fact that we are playing into a narrative that will not bode well. So please, brothers and sisters, be honest with yourselves.
Yeah.
Speak the truth to yourselves.
I think that for me, a lot of people, I think it comes from a little bit of not knowing or not gathering knowledge, of just being in your own cocoon. Because if you're not in your own cocoon, you would see that this thing that you're condemning in this state or in this local government is happening everywhere.
And again, we reiterate,
everywhere.
We condemn it completely.
Completely.
We're not even saying...
let's
because you know what pisses me off?
It together.
No, you know what pisses me off is when they tell you that the person you support in your state, its followers have done something. You're now pointing to another state.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's not your defense.
That's not your defense.
What we're saying is that your governor
and
his supporters have done wrong.
And let's condemn it. Then when
let
we
it be
move
across
on to
board.
another state and we talk about it, that's where my issue comes from with people. And I feel that at the end of the day, we also need to realize that, I think that for starters, we need to learn what a democracy is. And I think that's the problem. Because when everybody has a candidate, the minute things do not go down well with your candidate, there's a problem.
So let's run through the other states.
Anyway, so quickly, Sokoto State also won their elections with about APC won that state with about almost 50,000 votes. The APC got 453,661, with the PDP coming strongly with 404,632.
Quickly, to let you know, 4 years ago in Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, who is the outgoing governor, got 49.41%. The APC's Issa Ahmad Aliyu also got 49.37%. Like, it's the closest gubernatorial race in the history of Nigeria. Microseconds and something could have happened.
But the number of votes actually made it, because some other states that their gap in votes are actually lesser than this. But before I was going to talk about Lagos State quickly. There are a few things coming from Lagos State. We talked about Labour Party and the Labour Party candidate saying that he was going to go to court, which is okay. The APC have talked about the PDP gubernatorial candidate, who we know left the APC for the PDP, talking about the fact that he has learnt his lessons and they will welcome him back into the fold.
That's the APC talking.
The APC talking about the PDP governorship candidate. Also, there's talks about the deputy deputy governorship candidate in the PDP, Funke Akindele, who's also dropped. That said that she's deleted every single thing that has to do with politics of her.
Maybe that's where our space is now. Like, our mind is like, I'm done with politics. I'm moving on to something new.
I think that.
Oh, I'm going back to what I know.
I personally don't feel that. I personally feel everybody should be involved in politics, really. And I think that's such a very drastic.
And she could still be involved, but she probably won't be.
Just doesn't want to post it and all that. Yes, makes sense. That is actually a very interesting angle to it. Also, there's a lot of, we know that Lagos State, for example, has a lot of not a lot, but there are a few like Nollywood people that are involved in it. We also know that over the weekend, Desmond Elliott, who's also a Nollywood actor, won his seat, I think, for the third time.
Surulere won,
where we know that there was a lot of drama. There was also another Nollywood actor who was contesting for that same seat under Labour Party. Now, the issue with Labour Party was that if Labour Party had won, according to INEC, it was a different
person they had a buyer or something
that was on their own
not
shit.
Olumide
Oworu was campaigning. So maybe Labour Party needs to do an explanation, or maybe they don't anymore, since they did not win that election. Also, before, with the ones that have been announced, Kano State is the final one on that list, with NNPP finally getting a governor.
Look, a big shout out to the NNPP and the Kwankwasia movement. Kwankwaso is such a grassroots person.
Obviously.
Now, in 2019, interestingly, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje got 50.23. But it wasn't so much, because the PDP candidate, Abba Kabir Yusuf, does that name ring a bell? Abba Kabir Yusuf got 49.77%. Now, Dolupo has mentioned that the NNPP has won. They won with 1 million plus votes, about 1.1 million.
Yeah.
And the APC got 890 plus votes.
But
guess who is the candidate of the NNPP? Abba Kabir Yusuf.
So,
do you understand now?
Yeah. So it's the
same guy comes back on the platform of the Kwankwasia movement.
So I other than who won and who lost, I was going to say that shout out to the people of Kano State. I think in these elections they probably have the highest number of voters. We have about 2 million voters coming from there compared to anywhere else. No state comes close to it. I think that those are the things that we need to actually look into. What's making the Kano people vote? And Lagos, that has more registered voters, has about half of that voted. Those are the conversations we need to start having now. Why are people not voting? In fact, if we look at Lagos State, less people are voting by the election.
Every election cycle, it
It
reduces.
seems to reduce. I don't know what exactly the issue is, but that's basically what it is. Also, there's a bit of news coming out from Bauchi State, where the APC has said that it rejected the result of Bauchi governorship election, as the APC agent has refused to sign.
All right. So again, there's nothing to say there because someone has refused to sign. But let us hopefully pray that by tomorrow, when we come back at the bar, there'll be
something to talk about there. Also, INEC has said that they've suspended collation of results in Abia and Enugu State indefinitely. There's a bit of violence here and there, so there's a lot of drama.
I like to quickly address Abia, where, of course, it has been reported from the situation rooms and even some of the results that people have collated that Alex Oti
of the Labour Party,
formerly of the APC, who is now a Labour Party candidate, has won in Abia. But we have to wait for the official. We always respect the official results. And now the results have been suspended. He actually made a video a few hours ago complaining about rigging and other things. Yeah. But based on experience, it looks like this is the next governor of Abia State.
So a few of those
Labour Party would have a governorship.
They probably will have a governor
who is now a governor.
So Labour Party seems going to have a governor. NNPP. I like this new elections. Yeah, there are a lot of things that are popping up. A lot of switches are being made. A lot of new parties are coming up. It's good. At least we do not have just the APC and PDP anymore. Quickly, also before we go, in Enugu State also, there's a bit of violence here and there. There's a lot of drama. So Enugu State too have also been suspended. Kebbi State, interesting for Kebbi is that Kebbi State's elections have been announced inconclusive, and the reason because there seems to be almost a clear winner, as the APC is leading with about over 40,000 votes. But according to the Electoral Act, there is a law that states that if the cancelled votes is more than the margin of winning, then it's going to be declared inconclusive, and those elections of those affected places are going to be taken again. So it has been declared inconclusive. They don't know when they're going to do Kebbi State elections, basically like a runoff of a few places in Kebbi State. So yes, that's the update coming from Kebbi State.
We have to talk about Adamawa State. Adamawa State.
There's a lot of drama going there. I don't even know what to say. They have refused to announce results in Adamawa. Let me just put it like that.
So, a lot of people have been talking about how Adamawa State has produced the first female governor in Nigeria. Sadly, you cannot confirm that at this moment.
Yeah.
There's one more local government to go. And the local government to go is propelled or is being positioned as the local government that might make our governor. But the results are being disputed. So as it stands, it's not looking very, very good in Adamawa. Before Dolupo brings up anything, because I know we're out of time, we have to go.
Yeah.
It's commendable that the APC's candidate in Oyo State,
has
Teslim,
actually announced, he has congratulated.
Senator
Teslim,
it's
worthy of
to say congratulations to Governor Seyi Makinde.
I think those things help douse tension, actually. People that are aggrieved and all that, those things. I'm not saying that people have to do, because before in people say that. So say maybe in Lagos that people should, if you do not want to congratulate people, it's fine. But I feel that those things I think that even if you congratulate someone, does not mean you cannot go to court.
It doesn't mean that.
Personally, I just feel that at this point, those things actually really douse a bit of tension. And on that note, that is all we're able to take.
A lot of people said she's won, but she might not have won. So
we'll see what happens with that. I hope that I will come back tomorrow to announce that Nigeria finally has a female governor. Fingers crossed. Anyway, on that note, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much for the comments. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time, of course, to give you more updates on a lot of, I'm sure that's definitely what we're going to be talking again tomorrow. A lot of more states that have been announced and updates on.
Yeah, like Ebonyi, we have the APC winning there.
Yeah,
it's confirmed.
It's confirmed now.
Plateau State has Muftwang of the PDP as a winner.
So yes, well, that's it. Have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead. And happy new week, actually. It's a new week.